We're just going to take a look at three different mini PC form factors here. They're basically running a very similar processor architecture, but of course three completely different designs. On the left here we've got the Intel Compute Stick, $129. We've got the Inol Mini PC with built-in battery, $99 from China plus import costs, brings up to around, it can be about $140. And then we've got the Intel NUC based on the N2820. This one you can get it with the 2830, which is the Celeron branded Atom Bay Trail M processor, and this is about $130 as well. Now let's take a closer look at all three, and I'll explain the differences between the three as we go along. So this is the Intel Compute Stick, obviously in an HDMI dongle format, similar to something like the Amazon Fire TV Stick or the Chromecast stick, and it's been quite popular in the media recently because there's a number of models of brands of this have come out pretty much based around the same Intel architecture inside. So what we've got is an Atom quad-core 1.33 gigahertz and Bay Trail T processor, the type you find in a tablet like this, the Dell Venue 8 tablet, Windows 8, and quite capable as a tablet and even usable as a desktop. Talk about more about performance as we go along. Very small fan in here, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, same as the very cheap sort of $99 to $150 tablets. Look around the device, and obviously you've got HDMI port there, fan output here, micro SD card slots. You can expand it with a micro SD card. Full USB 2 port there. Unfortunately, it's not a USB 3 port. And then there is a security port here. Now, it's interesting. This is the first device that I think people might actually use the security port for, because, and Kev Wright from Tech Talk UK podcast pointed out absolutely correctly that if you hang this off the back of a monitor in a public or a publicly accessible place, someone might just pull it out and take it with them, and it's a very easy way to take a PC with you. So that lanyard port will be useful there. Micro USB. Now that's mainly for charging. I haven't tried it with one of those data plus charge solutions like the pluggable DV8 port, sorry, USB to display link adapter thing. But mainly this is going to be where you're going to get the power into it. Bit of fan output there, or input, and a power button on the top. There inside there is just a really tiny fan. Once that gets going, it sounds like a little mosquito. You kind of wonder where the sound's coming from, and then you realize it's this thing. I have had it fire up a couple of times, but in general it seems to be silent when you're sort of playing back videos. It would probably remain silent as long as it was an H.264 being decoded in hardware. There's a little light there, and basically that's it. It's extremely light, and $129, £129, €129. Let's say that street prices are going to take this down to $99, and I've seen variants of this, and the Arcos have a variant of this which they want to put out for €99, and there are other models which I think will come out for a similar sort of price. Now you're getting Windows 8.1 with Bing on here, fully licensed version. Can't remember actually if you get the Office package with it. I don't think you do. I don't think you get an Office code with it. That's the actual box it comes in, so actually quite a nice little box as well. Now what you're going to use this for? Well, this is obviously to hang off the back of a PC as a kind of a home theater device. What you can do is run something like XBMC or whatever it's called now off this, connect it via Wi-Fi, which is in here, along with Bluetooth 4, to your NAS and start streaming videos to it. You could use it as a very basic PC, a thin client type PC, certainly run browsing better than most tablets, unfortunately, there's no TPM in here, so you can't really use this with BitLocker encryption to carry secure data with you. It would be quite a nice way to carry secure data, because you could just chuck it on the ground and stamp on it if you wanted to get rid of it quickly. So no TPM in this one. So that's the Intel compute stick. Let's take a closer look at the Inol. The Inol. This is running exactly the same processor as is in the compute stick. So we've got the quad core Z, what is it, 3735F, I think, 1.33 gigahertz up to 1.83 gigahertz with turbo boost, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage. But obviously this is in a different form factor, so you've got slightly different set of ports on here. So if I go to the front, there's two full-size USB 2 ports. So that's kind of useful. You can hang a drive off one and obviously Bluetooth keyboard and mouse off another one. There's a power button there. It's quite a nice design. It's a metal design all round, so probably quite sturdy. That's only printed on. That's not a fan output or any sort of holes there, because this is fanless. So it is quite ingress resistant. I'm not sure. You've got a lot of ports on this, but certainly there's no fan input and output ports there, so that's quite nice. 5-volt DC input via one of those plugs. Unfortunately, I don't know why they didn't use micro USB port, because that would have been quite handy. There is a micro USB port on here, but it's used for data. You can't charge for it. So I would have loved to have seen that as a micro USB port, because you could have done a lot of things with external battery packs and solar power and that sort of stuff. Headset port there, mini HDMI, that's not micro and it's not normal, so you do get the mini HDMI to normal HDMI cable with it, so that's quite nice. As again I said, micro USB here, and there's a micro SD card slot there. So why is this bigger than this? It's because there's a battery inside here, 18 or 17.5 watt hour battery. So that brings in some interesting use cases. There's also a TPM in here. And I'm sure you can think of a lot more than I can to do with this, but I was thinking that this could be a nice portable PC solution for on the go. I'm thinking of display link USB screens that could work with this off battery, and even if you run it in connected standby, it would stream to a Bluetooth headset without any problem from the drive in here. It also supports BitLocker because it's got the TPM, so it could be used as secure transport for data. Bear in mind that with the 8.1 Home Edition, with Bing Edition, keys are stored in the cloud with Microsoft, so you're not able to look after the keys or hide or lose the keys as you might want to do yourself. $99, as I said, that's Chinese import price. I paid another $40 on top in customs fees in Europe, actually in Germany. It depends where you are. It depends how lucky you are, whether it gets through customs or not without the extra charges. But think about, in Europe, definitely your extra VAT charges. On top of that, there'll be a handling charge from the customs and excise people as well. And as for US, I'm not sure what the rules or regs are there, but you might find you get it'll either get held up in customs or you get charged for it as well. That's the Inol Mini PC, fanless with the TPM, with the battery inside. Neither of those two solutions are expandable internally. You can't increase the RAM, you can't increase the storage size. But this, the Intel NUC, now in its third generation, I think, with the Broadwell and Braswell CPUs. This is from the second generation, I think, with the Baytrail M and Haswell CPUs. This is expandable, and this has a lot more connectivity, a lot more desktop style connectivity inside it. So you've got a proper memory card slot, you've got you've got mSATA port for a fast drive, and you've got a SATA port as well, so you can put Wi-Fi card in there, you can put a 3G card in there, it's wired for Wi-Fi. There's also consumer infrared on this, there's USB 3, and then if we flip around the back, it's really quite interesting. You'll see fan ports there. There is a fan inside this, but it's actually very, very quiet. It's pretty good. Gigabit Ethernet port, full HDMI, 2 more USB ports. You've got your headset port there, and a 12-volt DC input, which is maybe a little bit interesting for car use. I'm not too sure whether that needs to be regulated or not. Probably does. And this is 129. Now this really is a good home theater solution because you can put your own storage inside, or you can run a NAS over a gigabit Ethernet, which is a much better solution than running over Wi-Fi N, which you get on the other two devices. You could also drop an AC Wi-Fi card in here as well. Kensington port lock on there. Weighs a little bit more than the others, and it's a bit heavier. And it runs the Bay Trail M processor, not the Bay Trail T, which is a dual core rather than a quad core, but each core runs up to, I think, 2.5 gigahertz rather than 1.8 gigahertz. There's very little difference in the processing power. There is hardware decoding, video decoding support on these, as on the other two, which will run you up to, well over 100 megabits per second of H.264 data throughput. So nice little solution. So that's the three solutions I'm looking at here, and it's typical of the mini PCs that you're getting out there in the market right now. Keep an eye out for some Core M solutions that are coming up. I've seen a couple of rumours and a couple of pre-announcements for Core M based devices, and that could be nice to get some core type power in a fanless device. But for the time being, also, of course, the next generation Atom, the X5 and X7 could be quite interesting. They're full 64-bit systems. That's actually interesting to point out. This has a full 64-bit architecture with full 64-bit bootloader, UEFI bootloader. These two have the 64-bit processors with a 32-bit bootloader. So actually, there's some problems getting common Linux installations to run on these. I think you'll find that there's a Ubuntu version which will run on that. Certainly the BIOS or the UEFI setup has Ubuntu built in as a boot option. I think you basically need to add Ubuntu on a stick here and then boot from USB, and you can get Ubuntu running on that fairly easily, which makes it a nice sort of solution for maybe data collection or remote server, or drop it into a cafe with a Wi-Fi hotspot running on a 3G card, and you can do some nice data collection. I didn't say that. And this is the same. This has got the same sort of bootloader issues as well. This is full 64-bit, and this is really the flexible solution. This is sort of like the hacker solution. These, I think, are quite exciting hobby solutions, and you probably find that some of these will end up in different packaging. Certainly I see this ending up in different packaging for things like display usage in a hardened package. You could even add a USB battery on there and use it. See, there's a USB battery here. You could just run that off a USB battery. That's extremely low power because it hasn't got a screen that will idle down to something like 1.5 watts with it on and connected standby. That will be a couple of 100 milliwatts, and you could do some interesting stuff there with some Windows 8 apps, data collection and polling and weather data and all that sort of stuff comes to mind with that one. And this one, the sort of portable, very portable sort of hot desking solution. I could see this going into developing countries as a sort of shared school PC as well. It's fairly rugged. It's got the ports. It runs Windows. It runs Linux, and that could be a nice little sort of cheap solution. And then, of course, the home theater baby here, and that's the one I use for XBMC. Actually, I use OpenELEC, and it runs an absolute treat off my NAS with the gigabit Ethernet there. So, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below on the video. There'll be more testing and reporting on this for umpcportal.com coming up. Certainly the Inol and the compute stick. I've already got a couple of posts up on UMC Port with those, so check out umpcportal.com. My name's Chippy, @Chippy on Twitter, so if you follow me on Twitter, you want to ping me with a question, I'll try and answer you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.